Good afternoon. This is the Rules and Legislative Oversight Committee. We are reconvening on Bill number EA 23-0175, Faith Leach for City Administrator of Baltimore. We are reconvening from last week for the purpose of taking a revote. Before we get into that vote, we want to give the President an opportunity to say a few words, and then we will proceed into the vote, and then we will conclude the hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you all for gathering here today. As always, this council has been committed to working with the Scott administration by placing great emphasis on the priority of collaboration and communication to best serve and support the people of Baltimore. While there's been a lot of discussion regarding this matter over the weekend, we've been in regular communication not only with the mayor but also with Acting CAO Leach to ensure that this confirmation hearing would be done efficiently as possible. I am somewhat disappointed by some of the outside noise that's entered into a real governmental process for us, ensuring that we're working together to develop the best possible process and moving forward with this. At this point, this council, this committee never questioned the capabilities of Ms. Leach to serve in this role, but it's a way that appropriate executive nomination and appropriate communication between the administrative branch, the executive branch and the legislative branch should occur, and that's what this council did. We're here today and we look forward to continuing to engage with the administration around this important matter, and we will strive to continue to work together to benefit not only the city of Baltimore, but for each and every public servant that commits the ability of doing that. So with that, Mr. Chair, I turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the nomination of Faith Leach as the second city CA administrator of Baltimore City. And I just like before, and I hear there was a second, but I just like to extend with our council president that this was clearly a legislative process, and I must say that since the start of the first term of this administration, this past weekend has been a weekend of what I want to say was one of the best collaborations and just building relationships. All this is a part of what we have to continue to do to move forward to keep our city moving. So Faith, we are here as a legislative body, and I think all of the council members agree with this, to help and work with you. It's a lot of work to be done, and we're all ready to work with you to make that happen.
Thank you. So motion by Middleton, seconded by Conway. We'll take a roll call. Chair Schleifer, yes. Councilman Burnett?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to explain my vote. Faith, my apologies. I was not, due to a previous commitment, I was not able to be here last week for the initial hearing. But as I said to you privately and will say to you publicly, I think you have done a outstanding job in your role as a deputy mayor. Had an opportunity to work very closely with you on the response, the squeegee collaborative work, where you did a yeoman's job at bringing together stakeholders from government, from the community, from business, from nonprofit, to come up with solutions that folks across a spectrum of ideas and for a challenge, as deep as that, to really pull people together. Your work is the Mayor's Office of Children and Family Success, helping to dole out millions of dollars in emergency rental assistance and other federal resources, which we as this body, we as the city of Baltimore covet, particularly because those resources don't come very often from the feds. And so to be able to do that at such a high level with integrity and the respect that you command and bring for the job, this is a no-brainer for me. I'm a yes in support for you to be our next city administrator. Thank you.
Councilman Costello?
Mr. Chair, can I explain my vote?
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I mentioned on the floor virtually on Thursday evening, and I'll say again, Ms. Leach, I've found you to be a brilliant, dedicated, hardworking public servant who has always been responsive to me. This was about concerns with the administration, how the office has been structured, and I'm confident after the conversations that we've had over the weekend with the mayor directly, myself, with you and others, that we can hopefully work through those concerns. With that, I vote aye.
Council Vice President Middleton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ramos,
Mr. Chair, I'd like to explain my vote. I'm again an emphatic yes. I have, again, want to just express my support that I've always had for you and your leadership, CAO Faith Leach, and I hope that you know, this whole thing was an unfortunate situation, I think, but it sounds like we are moving forward together, and I'm looking forward to the next steps and working with my colleagues and working with your office. We do have a lot of work to do in our city, and I think together we can do that. So thank you for sticking with us. You didn't have to, but I'm glad you did. And I look forward to working with you. Thanks.
Councilman Torrance.
May I explain my vote?
Sure.
Ms. Leach, thank you again for showing up. That is the first thing that we think about when we show up every day in public service. I see that your sorors are here, and I look at the trailblazing women that came from Delta Sigma Theta, and how you showed up again today. And I will formally apologize to this committee for my decorum. However, I will stand on my laurels. We must revise our rules about what does present mean and be defined. I will not allow this institution to jeopardize its role for the citizens of Baltimore, nor the people that I serve. I respect your vote and your opinion, my fellow members. However, we need a parliamentarian at every meeting, and I want to be explicit. I stand on those laurels, but I will apologize for my decorum. I'm a person who respects institutions, as someone who served as the Chief of Staff in the General Assembly, a staff person on the Oversight Committee in Congress. I'm a person who served in the mayor's office of the city of Baltimore. I know far too well the traditions of this building. I stand in the same district that the first African-American councilperson, Harry S. Cummins, was elected in. But I will say one thing, we cannot inflict institutional power on people in a way that is not right. And with that, I vote emphatically yes.
Councilman Conway.
May I explain my vote?
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Faith. I know this has been very tough for you. You have been a phenomenal public servant, and I know you will continue to be. You're a consummate professional. I think you handled yourself really well despite what I'm sure you were going through. We had a conversation the night of, and I know how tough it was for you on that night. You know, that said, I think we had also a number of other conversations about the work we need to do. Ultimately, we as a council, it is our job to hold you accountable, and sometimes it's going to be tough. And please know that I have the utmost respect for you. And also, it is our duty to make sure that the issues addressed in that hearing are addressed going forward. And I look forward to working in partnership with you and Mayor Scott, who I also had a conversation with, and he expressed also his willingness to work with us to address those issues. So with that, it's an emphatic yes, and I really do look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you. So that is 7 votes in the affirmative, none in the negative, and so congratulations, Ms. Leach, you advance. So as chair of the Oversight Committee, my goal is to shift the culture of how business is conducted in Baltimore City. The culture of not providing great city services must change. The culture of the administration not working on a routine basis with the council must change. And simply, we need to get back to basics. Otherwise, we risk the continuing of the population decline that we've been seeing over the years and all the negative ramifications that come along with that. Every member of this body is independently elected to serve. Each of us have a different constituency that have different opinions and different priorities. And we're a diversity council. And we're not supposed to agree on every issue. We can agree at times, but we can also disagree at times without being disagreeable. And so we need to respect each other and the institution of this chamber and appreciate that our diversity is our strength. It is my hope that this is the beginning of the council working together with the administration moving forward with Faith Leach as our city administrator. Your success is our success, and we plan to do everything in our ability to make sure that you succeed so that the city succeeds under your leadership. And so thank you. You don't have any closing remarks. We will conclude this hearing. Thank you. Do you have something you would like to say? Go ahead.
Thank you. I did not prepare any formal remarks, but I did want to take the opportunity to thank each and every one of you. I thank you for your confidence in me. I thank you for your partnership, and I thank you for your willingness to continue to work together. What you will see from me moving forward and what you will see from this administration is an administration that communicates, an administration that coordinates, and an administration that works for the betterment of this city in partnership with the members of this body. So again, thank you for your confidence in me, and I look forward to working with each of you.
Thank you. We are now adjourned.